Hello, my name is Mike. I am the American Analyst. Thank you for joining me this evening. I wanted to make a video about precisely why I have started this channel and what my intentions are for it. On your screen, you are seeing a tweet by a man named David Hogg, who was very famous during the Parkland incident in Florida several years back. David was recently accepted into Harvard University, and he has tweeted this on February 5th. Lincoln was a really good president. And within a few hours of him tweeting this, he came out with several others. Actually, I was not aware of the scope of how detrimental he was to many Native American populations. And then followed further by, I thank my indigenous peers that brought my attention to Lincoln's atrocities committed against Native Americans. This is not a video about either Abraham Lincoln or David Hogg, but I believe it is an excellent microcosm of why I chose to do this. Which brings me to my next point. As I mentioned, David is attending Harvard currently, and in doing research for this, I went through every course within the history department that Harvard has offered in the fall of 2019 and is currently going through in the spring of 2020. And as I did so, several things became plain to me that may be surprising to some, but certainly not to others. In the courses that concern the United States, but also Western Europe and European civilizations in general, there is a through line of downplaying the accomplishments of these societies and overemphasizing the faults that exist within them. And I would like to make several things clear that hopefully I will not have to do too much during my time with this particular channel. It is certainly valid and well worth people's time to examine the actual society that existed at the time, meaning the faults as well as the accomplishments of those societies. So in regards to Abraham Lincoln, I don't know if what David is saying is true, but it is worth looking at. I certainly agree with that as someone who has a profound respect for history in general, not simply the history of the United States. With that being said, it is equally important to emphasize the accomplishments of those particular societies. And to my next point, there's one class currently being offered at Harvard called American Capitalism, which, so far as I can tell, is a completely one-sided look at the economic history of the United States. I don't imagine that there's anything within this course that at all paints the United States and its current economy or its past economy in any form of a positive light. One of the required reading items for this class, American Capitalism, is called The Divide by Jason Hickel. And in this, he states that climate, geography, and culture do not determine the current state of development within a country. Global poverty, he says, and the growing inequality between the rich countries of Europe and North America and the poor ones of Africa, Asia, and South America has come about because the global economy has been designed over the course of 500 years of conquest, colonialism, regime change, and globalism. To close the divide, he continues, abolishing debt burdens in the global south, democratizing the institutions of global governance, and rolling out an international minimum wage, among many other vital steps. Only then will we have a chance at a world where we all begin on a more equal footing. I don't know how you would put any of this into practice. But beside that point, it is clear that this person is not being objective when it comes to the history and global economic systems which make up our current society. And yet, this piece is included in the most prestigious university in the United States, in the history department. Now, it is possible, you may be thinking, it is possible that this is one side, that they go through and examine, here's, the pro arguments versus the con arguments, this being among the con. I do not get that sense from looking at what this course describes and the other reading materials that are required for it. I have not taken this course, but I don't imagine that this course is meant to look at things objectively, which is quite scary. This is a required course for anyone who is studying history at Harvard, which may include Mr. David Hogg. So, finally, why is this important? Who cares, basically? Societies need to be structured upon common foundations. And one of those, I would say, the most important, though there's certainly room for disagreement, one of those is the history that makes up that particular nation or group of people. And when you start to hack at the foundations, at the history of a country, it will fall apart, which is why I have started to do this particular channel. I'm trying to keep the foundation from falling apart. I will rarely, if ever, be this dramatic during videos that I do. But I felt that it was important to have a clear message as to what exactly it is that I am trying to do here. Certainly, things change in history, in historiography, the history of history, rather. And I'm certainly willing to entertain the idea that things in history can change. Perhaps we had a view of something that has changed over time. And I'm perfectly willing to accept that, and if presented with evidence that that is true, I'm more than willing to do that. However, simply talking to your indigenous peers and declaring that one of the foundational persons who made our country into what it is was bad, I'm not willing to accept that. Thank you all for listening. My name is Mike. I am the American Analyst, and I will be coming out with new videos every single day for your viewing enjoyment. Have a good one.